Titans Global. Let's go. Started with a vision, two voices in the mix. Max and Link together, building something that'll stick. Every episode we drop, yeah, we're reaching new heights. Titans Global on the map, burning bright every night. From the first recording session to the fans that tune in, we've been grinding every day, yeah, we're destined to win. Titans Global, that's the name, that's the brand, we the fans. Speaking truth through the microphone, messages that we send. Titans Global, that's the movement. Titans Global, feel the power. Titans Global, we keep pushing. Titans Global, this our hour. Titans Global, Max and Link. Titans stronger than you think. Titans Global, that's the way. Titans Global, every single day.
What's up, Titans fans, and welcome to another episode of Titans Global Podcast. I am your host, Maximus Titan Fan, and with me, as always, is my good buddy Link. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? A lot going on tonight. 2 Monday night football games, MLB playoff games, ALCS, but we are fortunate, or maybe unfortunate enough, to be here to talk about the Titans. But we thank you for joining us if you're here. And as always, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, get in the comment section. A lot going on. We got players leaving. We got trade deadlines coming up. Whole lot to get to. So with that, let's get right into it.
Yeah, so, oh my God, where do I start? I'll start with this, man. We started off great. You know, I think the last game, one of the things I said was I wanted to see how good we start the game. And the scripted plays were decent. I mean, the first drive wasn't great, but the next two drives were. They ended in points. We were in the lead. It looked like we had a decent thing going on, and then all of a sudden, everything just fell apart.
Yeah, somehow we need to find a Mike McCoy first half and a Brian Callahan fourth quarter, and then if we could just get a third quarter coach, I think we'd be in good shape. Just
you might be right, man.
Committee. I mean, is that where we're at?
Yeah, whatever it takes to win, man. That's what I was saying. Is I don't even care if it's like every game is like the Cardinals game where it's just obvious that the other team just screwed up and it was, it wasn't really our team being superior. I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. Just give me some wins, man. The O-line looked like crap. I try to do themes every week. My theme this week is help Cam Ward. Help Cam Ward. What are we doing to help Cam Ward? How can we help Cam Ward? What are the things that we're doing to not help Cam Ward? 9 rushes. A lack of a running game. I complained about Callahan and his odd play calling, so I have to really complain about this. Simply because, and I know we were behind, but still, no rushing plays at all. You're basically telling the defense, just pin your ears back and come at our quarterback, who is also young and has a crappy O-line. So I really thought that was a bad play. And again, that just goes back to the theme of not helping Cam Ward. That is not how you help your quarterback as a play caller. You don't just do 9 rushes. You just can't do that.
Yeah, and I mean, going off that, like, how do you help Cam Ward? This is hard for me because you've now put your rookie quarterback, first overall pick, in possibly the worst situation in the NFL right now because you have a lack of offensive line. You have a lack of receivers, especially with Calvin Ridley out. They either don't have or refuse to have a run game, like you mentioned. So I don't know how you help him because all you've done to this point is just coach in these bad habits. I mean, his footwork is terrible. His ball security rivals that of Will Levis. I don't know. I don't really know where you go from here. And that's not to say that there's not hope. because things can always get better. But the Titans as an organization have put themselves in a spot where no decision they make is necessarily a good one, because each decision comes with repercussions. I mean, if you set the quarterback, you hurt his confidence. If you keep playing him, you risk more bad habits and injury. If you let receivers walk like we saw today, you're down in depth. If you keep them around, you just continue to be a bad football team. So I mean, there's no decision they can make at this point that I think really helps Cam Ward. It's just a matter of seeing if he's good enough to work his way through it. And I think that's yet to be seen, but signs point to no. So I don't really know where you go from here. And that's hard to say as a fan. You're just in a bad spot. You're in a real bad spot. I'm curious what the cheap shots are. I don't know what – I mean, what have I said that's incorrect, just out of curiosity? I mean –
No, that's the thing, man. You're not saying anything that's wrong. Yeah, they're not helping Cam. They haven't put him in a good situation. The O-line is the thing that bothers me the most, because with Will Levis and Cam Ward, the O-line was very questionable. You know, it's hard to gauge how good a quarterback is when he doesn't have 2.5 seconds to at least look at the field. That's extremely hard. I mean, I just don't. Zeitler, and this is the thing that blows my mind. Okay, like if you would have asked me at the beginning of this season who I thought would have been the best performer on offensive line, I would have easily said one of my guards. I mean, I've always thought Scoob was good as a left guard, but Zeitler coming in, total pro, you know, was an all-pro last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a little old, but I mean, shit, dude. He had the worst score on the line yesterday. The absolute worst score. You know, and Latham didn't do much better. He did better than he did in the last game, but he only by PFF's performance scores, which, you know, I don't know how the metrics come up with this crap. But the point is that I don't know how good you can measure a quarterback's vision of the field when they can't even look past the linebackers before they have somebody in their face. I don't want to say I'm giving him like an excuse, but I just don't know how. You know, it's just like when the receivers were dropping the ball. It's the same thing. I mean, you're doing everything right, but the people around you are still doing the wrong things.
Well, I don't know about that either, because
I'm not. Let me rephrase that, because you're right. His footwork is crap. His footwork is terrible, man. He's flat-footed constantly, and you see him get caught up. You know, there was a play we saw in replay at the game where I thought, why didn't you just step up into the pocket?
Mm-hmm. That's part of it. He puts himself in bad. He puts the line in bad situations too.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a point where, I mean, the pocket was collapsing around him, but Cush and Scoob had a good point. You know, had a good point of attack and made a nice crease. And all you had to do was take off, take 3 steps up, and decide if you're going to hit your check down or run for it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and I understand he wants to be a pocket passer, but you just can't do that. In the play, he tries to run backwards and to the right and ends up losing like 5 yards, I think it was, or 7. I don't know. It was a big loss. It's
about taking what's given. And if you want to see a perfect example of that, watch the same game, but the other side of the ball, where Drake May was as efficient as we've seen a quarterback all year. Not the best performance, but as efficient as you've seen. He was very decisive when it was time to run. He was able to move the ball down the field. He recognizes checkdowns. He was able to read the defense. And look, I don't think that he's that much more talented than Cam Ward is. He has a better supporting cast, absolutely, but I don't think he has more talent. The problem with Cam Ward is even when the pocket's clean, he doesn't feel comfortable. And part of that's coaching, part of that's the offensive line, part of it is the position he puts himself in. This is just what you, and I hate to keep harking on this, but this is what you get when you take a number one overall quarterback and don't have a team around him. Like that's the issue I have with it, because you're not setting him up for success long term. And again, maybe he's good, maybe he works his way through it, but he has to start doing the little things right and stepping up in the pocket, working on your footwork, taking your check downs, taking what's given, run when the lanes are open. Like, have we seen him run this year? Like, other than maybe once or twice. I mean, he's got lanes to go and just chooses not to go. And now we're in a situation where he's throwing balls behind receivers, and it's just the communication's off. His cohesion with the line is off. He doesn't have a receiver that I feel like he trusts. And, you hoped he had that in Calvin Ridley early on in training camp, but, now that's a foregone thing. So I don't know. That's why it's just, I don't know that we're definitely not going to figure out a solution sitting here talking tonight. And I don't know if they're able to find a solution for the rest of this season. I mean, it's hard. And they probably win another game. They might win a couple. Like, anything can happen. It's a professional football team. But everything from this game on out is about setting yourself up for next year and figuring out what you got. And Cam Ward, unfortunately, is becoming a conversation of, is this who we want to move forward with? And I hate that, because we're sitting here, 6 games into his career, having that conversation. And, that's just not what you want to do, but it's the reality of the situation.
So, all right. I will give a little bit of pushback, because Cam Ward, even though he has turned over the ball, and some of the turnovers I've got no excuse for, like the straight grease on the football, or whatever you want to call it, when he goes to cock back and it just pops out of his hand. He's done it twice now. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is.
I mean, I've seen it happen before, but not twice. Like, it's
not like
games is kind of insane.
Yeah, that is a little insane.
Yeah.
And I've got no answer for that. But according to PFF, Cam Ward has 7 turnover-worthy plays. 7. He has 10 turnovers total. 4 of his 5 interceptions have come off of tipped passes.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were bad throws, I'm not going to lie. But not all of them. And some of them didn't even get past the line before they were tipped. Maybe because of his throwing motion. Maybe because of his footwork at the time.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that the stats look a lot worse than they are. And the fact that the play callers aren't using the advantage. Cam Ward under play action is 8 for 8, 115 yards and a touchdown, 158 passer rating, 14-yard average. He's had 2 sacks, 1 fumble in play action plays. Now, they only use it 25% over the entire season. So, again, when you're calling 9 rushes in the game, you can't very well call play action passes. And that is one of the things that your quarterback seems to do well. So, again, the play calling, you mentioned it, the receivers, he doesn't trust. You wanted Iomanner to be the number one at first. Everybody was high on him.
I mean, he has to be at this point.
Right. And yeah, he absolutely has to be. The next game, if Calvin's not good to go, if we're still in the same situation that we were, I mean, it's Van Jefferson on one side and Iomanner on the other side with DK in the slot. Which DK, let's be honest, that was the one bright spot from our game yesterday. DK was freaking amazing in every facet of the game, if you ask me. 3 kick
Do you
return,
know he
but then
leads the NFL in all-purpose yards?
yeah,
Like,
it's sick.
kind of nuts.
He had 172 all-purpose yards, I think, in this game. Don't quote me on that. Look it up first. But 84 kick return yards on 3 kick returns, 1 punt return for 15 yards,
Mm-hmm.
4 receptions for 70 yards, and a
Mm-hmm.
touchdown. That happened right in front of us, by the way. More about that later. But yeah, man, I don't know. Again, what? And then he disappeared. I mean, he just absolutely disappeared.
Well, I don't think it's so much he disappeared as Mike Vrabel said that's enough. Like,
what,
like I think it's both. Like, New England decided no more, and they started shutting him down towards the end of the game because that was really the only weapon that was left on offense, if we're being honest.
yeah, I mean, well, the only effective, consistent weapon that they were using. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. There's really nothing I can say about that. And this is last week's. Sorry, I'm trying to look up the snap count for DK because it's something that I meant to look up, but I did not, and now I'm stuck in the middle here trying to figure it out. But it's okay. I know I posted it on my social media, but I post a lot of crap. It's amazing how many posts I do a day when I look back on it. A lot to say, I guess. The Titans are and I'm trying to get all this negative stuff out of the way because before Scoop come on, and then we can be positive or somewhat find some positive stuff. Anyway, the Titans are the only team in the NFL that hasn't scored 100 points. You're going to let that sink in for a minute because this is week 7, y'all. Week 7. Anyway, we've only scored 96 points, but we have given up 192, which is exactly double. Defense, how you helping out Cam Ward? How you and I agree. In the first couple games, I felt like the offense was so anemic that the defense was just out on the field so much that they just couldn't get anything done. And I was giving them that. But this week, not the case. From the beginning. I mean, you mentioned it earlier. Drake May was extremely efficient. Extremely efficient is a very nice way of saying it. I would say he waxed our ass. He only had 2 incompletions. 2 in the entire game.
Yeah. And at one point he was 19. At one point he was 19 to 20, which is just nuts. Yeah.
It was like he was just And I mean, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus or anything, but that goes back to that lazy cornerback safety play. I know, and I haven't watched the game on TV, and that's something that I usually do Mondays before I get on the show, just to, especially if I go to the game like I did this weekend. But I know Snead looked like crap. I don't need the TV to tell me that. I could see that in person. Snead got burnt, I don't know, 4 or 5 times before he got hurt with his bicep injury or whatever the hell he's got hurting on him. Quad, I think it is. We did lose Jeffrey Simmons, which really sucked. It was very early in the game, and I was really anxious to see him and Trevondre Sweat back on the same field, and we didn't get that a lot.
Of it.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I was just disappointed.
Here's what you're left with. You have no edge rush, partially because of injury and partially because they just decided they weren't going to do anything about that position in the offseason. Arden Key, not there. Femi, not there. Then you look at your secondary. Like, L'Jarius Sneed's probably playing the worst football he's played his entire career. He is playing the worst football he's played his entire career. Roger McCurry's asked to do way too much. The safeties are essentially non-existent. I'm not even sure what's going on at that position. But this is what it's like. Remind me again why we got rid of Brownlee. I don't understand. Like, you've now put yourself in a situation, again, partially because of injury, but partially because you just brought in the wrong group of people, that you can't do anything any longer on defense. And now, like you said, Jeffrey Simmons, you have an injury there. Tavondre Sweat missed the last few games. You can't get those two together. So it's a combination of bad luck and poor roster management. That's kind of what we're left with. And through the first few weeks, like, the defense played well enough to keep them in these games, but eventually that bend don't break mentality is going to break. And you saw it break this week in the second half. And the roster you got is what you got. So I don't know. Again, I don't know how they fix it this year. I don't know how you put a competitive football team on the field with the pieces that you have remaining. But we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe some people get healthy. It sucks because you really need to bring in a roster to even look like a professional football team this year. But you can't bring in a roster because you need to stockpile picks to look like a professional football team next year. Like, you're kind of in this catch-22 situation where what you got's what you got, and you just got to figure it out. But again, remind me why Brownlee was traded.
Oh man, like I said, it had to be some kind of character issue, or
that's weird because I haven't heard anything come out of the Jets about a character
issue. Maybe a coaching difference or something.
Look, I don't know, man. I think Brinker wanted his dudes on the field, and Brownlee wasn't one of his dudes. And Borgonzi might play into that as well, but I just don't feel – I feel like people are trying to make decisions that they think will benefit this team, but they just continually make the wrong decisions. And this goes back to the draft. Like, this goes back to taking Cam Ward number 1 overall. Like, it just – I think a lot of these people, Amy included, mean well, but I don't know that these people know what they're doing at this point. I really don't. Like that, and I don't know. And then, like, that's like today, letting Lockett walk. Like, I get it. The dude wants to be gone. You don't necessarily want him on the team. Like, you question the effort, I guess, at some point. And I'm not saying he's been doing a great job, like, not at all. But to let him walk and get nothing for him, like, you're telling me you couldn't pull a 7th? You telling me you couldn't get a 7th-round pick for Tyler Lockett instead of just saying, okay, go find a team on Wednesday afternoon? Like, that's weird. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Some of these decisions just blow my mind.
Yeah, well, personally, my blowback to that would be that he's trying to be a player's GM, I guess, because in that sense, you would be forced to be on whatever team we would trade for dirt. Instead he gets to choose his own setting at this point if he gets offered one.
So what? What has Lockett done for the city of Nashville? What has he done for the Tennessee Titans? I mean,
nothing, but it's just trying to get some leverage next year's free agency. Oh, look what I do. I'm good with the players. I try to look out for their best interest. Yeah. That's the only angle
people
I
walk
got,
for
man.
Nothing when we suck.
I mean, look, this is the only angles I got. I'm not saying this is exactly why it happened. It's just the only thing that makes sense to me. It is frustrating, though. I will say that. It is very frustrating, especially when he was the highest graded player last week for the Jets.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's what I'm saying. I just I don't get these decisions. I just don't.
I don't really either. Gunnar Helm, however, we've said it a million times on this show, needs more playing time. They got him pretty much splitting the reps now with Chig Okonkwo, except for the fact that Chig isn't getting targeted anymore because he is mostly covered all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't block worth a crap. So I just really feel, and Helm, I think there were two different plays that I've seen so far, just random. That Gunnar Helm is a great blocker, and it just shows up on film. I mean, he takes out a defensive end at one point in the game, just completely takes him out of the game just by blocking and holding him there, like a freaking tackle should. Um, God, should we have Helm giving Latham tips on how to? But no, seriously.
Here's a bright spot though. Who has impressed you more this year, Helm or DK? With where they were drafted, like who's been more of a pleasant surprise?
DK, easily.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that is because I think everybody expected Helm to be a good, receiving and blocking tight end, because that's just what he was at Texas or whatever. But and DK was more of a special teams player, you know what I mean? And even when we got him, we just looked him at as a gadget guy to stretch the field and just a quick runner, that kind of thing. And he has turned into the best returner in the NFL at this moment.
And maybe one of the best receivers, which is not good, but it's good for him, but not great for the tight. Like, you don't want DK to be your best receiver at this point. But that's kind of what it feels like. I mean, Almaner's had some good plays. I mean, I don't know. You could throw Helm in the conversation as far as efficiency catching the ball. But I don't know that there's a more diverse weapon on offense right now than DK. He can kind of do it all. And I hate these end around reverses that they just, for some reason, not let go.
Because it worked a good couple times, but you can't just keep doing it out of the same formation, the same side,
exactly.
The exact. I mean,
it
doesn't make sense.
Yep. So I guess now we kind of touched on this, and I'll see how much time we could even. I'll pose this question, and then we can get Scoob in on it if you want. But so let's say Ridley's not ready to go next week. You've decided you're going to let Lockett walk. Obviously, conversations now turn to, do you elevate Restrepo? They decided to give the nod to Kinsey this week, which I don't know. It was a decision, I guess. Not sure how much that really helped him.
He didn't get targeted. He didn't get any reception.
So, and that's another thing. Why it's just poor decision making and me not understanding what direction they're trying to take this team. But you take a guy who's been on the practice squad for 3 years now, decide you're going to throw him in the game, give him no targets, not really give him any snaps, instead of elevating a guy like Restrepo who hasn't even been given an opportunity yet. So I don't understand. But anyway, so let's say Ridley's not ready to go. Lockett's now gone. You have the ability to now upgrade Restrepo, give him a regular season game. Is that the route you go? You kind of have to, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, anybody who is following me, I've already asked for Restrepo for 3 weeks in a row now.
So do you go Iomanor 1 and then Restrepo 2 and then DK slot? Is that kind of where your direction goes, or do you try to put DK on the outside, move Restrepo in the slot? That's a weird, because I feel
I'll be honest with you, it's just whichever one's more comfortable on the outside.
Which you feel like would be Restrepo, even though his size is not what you really want there. And I don't know. Speed was a big thing coming out, but it looks like he's improved that a little bit. He's not, as far as metrics go, he's not the ideal outside receiver, but I don't know. I feel like DK is definitely a bigger weapon in the slot than Restrepo would be. So you kind of have to give the nod to DK in that situation. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. I think, and I mean, obviously Van Jefferson is kind of mixed into this a little bit too, but just for me, with the way this season is shaked out to this point, I would rather see those 3 receivers on the field and figure out what you've got than go with what makes the most sense as with Van Jefferson on the outside. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I'll be really honest with you, man. Like, I don't really expect this coaching staff to change too much more. So and Bryce Oliver was limited last week instead of did not participate. So I expect Oliver to get back into the conversation. And at that point, it's an easy lineup of Oliver on the outside and DK on the inside and leave Restrepo on the freaking practice squad like that. I mean, I would love to see Restrepo up, and I don't understand why they don't. I'm all about the youth movement. Not only that, he was the leading receiver at Miami, and he catches everything. I mean, he
And
really
he
does.
has a
He did it
history
in
with
practice.
Ward. Like he already has that
Exactly.
rapport built with Ward. Like it.
And when
And maybe I'm
Ward gets
missing
in those
something.
situations, he's gonna target him. I mean, he's gonna.
I just don't know what they see that we, and like we're not at practice, we're not in the locker room. So like I don't know. But it's just so weird to me that despite the injury, like why Mason Kinsey over
I
Restrepo?
don't know,
Like you
bro. I
know what
really
you've
don't.
got in Kinsey. And then even when you elevate him, like he's not even used. So I don't know. I don't know. And we can bring Scoob in and get his thoughts on that too. But that's just something I'm at a complete loss for. And again, it just goes back to really stupid decision making. At least that's what it seems like on the outside.
Yeah, and I've got a good, well, I think it's a good question to pose also when we get back. But right now, we have to show some love to the sponsor as always, and get ready for Scoob Scoops. Be out about, I don't know, 30 seconds, then Scoob Scoops, and then we'll be right back with Scoob. Talk to you later.
What's up, Titans fans? Maximus Titan fan here. Are you in need of professional excavation services? Look no further. Red Zone Builders has the expertise, experience, and equipment to handle all or any excavation project, big or small. Whether you need land clearing, site preparation, trenching, foundation excavation, or any other excavation services, they have you covered. Their team of skilled professionals work diligently to ensure your project is completed safely, efficiently.
Hey, Titans fans, Max, Link, how's everybody doing tonight? I'm going to play the Darth Scoobius tonight. I'm not going to be totally positive about a lot of things because, truthfully, there's not a lot of things to be positive about. So, the whole Restrepo thing, I don't know why Titan fans are so enamored with low-level wide receivers. The kid can't even beat Mason Kinsey, and so I mean, I don't know, whatever. But Cam Ward, I just feel like he's going backwards. He's not seeing the field, whatever that is, offensive line, whatever. I feel like he holds on to the ball too much. And like I said at the beginning of the season, why do we want to draft a guy that has over 50 fumbles or turnovers or whatever in his college career when you know it's going to carry over because everybody says he has little hands, So we'll see how that goes. I'm a big fan of Cam. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to cheer for him, and I want him to play well. But right now, he's not playing better than Levis did, and he's supposed to have a better offensive line. So I don't know what to say about that either. And my biggest gripe right now, though, is going to be with the defense because I feel like every defensive coach needs to be gone. They can't stop the run. They can't stop big plays. They can't stop anything third and long. They just keep trending backwards. You can't blame it on the offense because it started right at the beginning of the game. The last few games, they just, for some reason or another, the defense is not doing it. And I don't know. There again, do we not have good enough players? Obviously, we don't. And the coaches are not elevating any of the players anywhere on the field. There's not one coach that has elevated one player on this team, except for maybe DK, and that's about it. But besides that, like always, I'm always going to be at a game. I'm always going to cheer for the boys. We just got to figure it out. It ain't going to happen this year, obviously, but right now we're looking at a true rebuild, and we're at the very bottom. So, like always, tighten up. Love y'all guys, and that's all I got for Scoob Scoop tonight.
Darth Scoobius.
Yes,
I
Darth
like it.
Scoobius.
I like it.
That's fantastic. But it's in a bad state when our constant, proverbial positive guy has some complaints.
Man, it's just.
But it's good points though, because like you're in a situation now, like you mentioned Cam Ward, we're having this conversation as much as we don't want to. And the thing about it is you're about to bring in a new head coach. And what happens if that head coach gets here and it's a proven guy? I'm done naming names.
That doesn't want Cam?
That doesn't want Cam. Like,
right.
Are you going to force the coach to be stuck with him like you did with Levis and Vrabel? Because we saw how that ended. One of them's on IR and one of them's in New England. So that doesn't work. So do you base your coaching search on Cam Ward, even though Cam Ward hasn't really shown you anything to this point yet? This is what happens when you have the type of turnover that the Titans do with new GM, new head coach, new quarterback, new GM, new head coach, new quarterback. Like, you're in this vicious cycle now where you're forcing these marriages. And I don't know how long it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. It's just, are you going to continue to go down that road and be mediocre and never find the success you ultimately hope to find? Like, you mentioned you're in a full I hope so. But you mentioned we're in a full rebuild and we're at the floor. And it's at some point you just got to wipe your hands of it and say, we're going to start completely over. And now I think you're kind of at the point of that crossroads where we get to the end of the year. If Cam Ward is still showing the same tendencies he shows now, maybe it's time. New head coach with his quarterback.
If you think about it, he's getting a lot more grace than Levis did. And Levis was a second-round pick. He was a first-round pick. And he's supposed to have a better offensive line this year.
Yep.
That don't look like the truth either, though. But I don't know, man. I'm in the end zone, and when they're working towards us, I see him miss a lot of wide open receivers, just either by being rushed or just not viewing the field or whatever. And there's multiple times where he could probably run for the first down.
Yes.
And he decides to throw it away or throw it so hard at Alamander that Alamander doesn't even see the ball coming. I mean, 5 feet away from him, he does need to learn to put some touch on the ball, in my opinion.
I think Big Friend here makes a good point about Restrepo. It's not so much about whether he is or not better than any of the other coach or the players that they have on the practice squad. It's just at some point, why not?
Well, and it's really the only unknown you have left. Like, what you have in Kinsey, what you have in Oliver. It's not to say they're not good, but what they are. And
but if he can't beat the guy out, why put him out there?
Because and here's my thing, he hasn't really been given an opportunity to beat the guy out. You can say practice and training camp, yes, but there are players in the NFL, multiple very good players, that play in games a whole lot better than they practice. And if you go back to his time at Miami, he was really the best receiver at creating separation, at having sure hands, being able to catch the ball, put himself in the right position. Maybe you're right. Maybe he can't beat out Mason Kinsey. Maybe he can't beat out Bryce Oliver, but put him on the field and make him prove it. So, yeah, he might not be the best practice player. He might not be the fastest dude. And maybe they throw him out there next week and it's a complete failure. Maybe. But at least you can say you tried. Because this point, what do you have to lose? You know what I'm saying? He's a guy who's been tucked away, who was an undrafted free agent. We've seen these stories time after time where these guys come out in the NFL, they get their opportunity, and they find success. And maybe he's one of those dudes, and maybe he's not. But I don't want to be sitting here at week 16, week 17, not
Still
even
wondering.
knowing.
Well,
Exactly.
let me ask you this, Max. Why hasn't nobody took him off the practice squad?
Nobody's
That's a
seen him
very good.
play.
I
Why is there
mean,
not one team not even interested in him?
I'll be honest with you,
I
man.
mean,
The current coaching staff, to me, their ideas about talent and offensive evaluation doesn't hold a lot of water for me.
Exactly.
I mean, it just doesn't hold a lot of.
I'm just talking about all the other teams in the NFL. Any team can take him from the practice squad, and he's still here. Why is that?
Because he's an unknown. Because he's an unknown, and there's 31 other teams who would rather go with their unknowns before they go with somebody else's unknown. So I'm not saying he's good, but I'm just
I have
saying we
nothing
don't
against
know.
Restrepo.
We just don't
I'm
know.
not against him. I just don't think he's playing well enough to be on the field and
Well,
practice or whatever. I don't know.
again, I'm not trying to keep bringing it up, but he's making good points here. It's just because of the familiarity, and like you said, Link, I've been saying this for 3 weeks. People play different in shorts than they do in pads.
Mm-hmm.
People play different in games. Some people can show up in a game that they don't show up on the practice field, and I don't understand it because, to be honest, everything I saw in practice was good. So I mean, unless the guy is walking around in concrete shoes, I really don't get why you don't just say, what the hell? Give it a shot. They have the chemistry, they have the connection, so it makes sense.
And I mean, if you're a 500 team and you're still fighting for the division, then yeah, bring in Bryce Oliver. Bring in somebody that you're used to, who you think can get it done on the field better than Restrepo can. But you've won one game this year. You ain't playing for anything. The only thing you're playing for at this point is to figure out what this roster looks like next year. I just don't see the harm in it, I guess, is my thing. And why elevate Kinsey if you're not even going to use him? You know what I mean? Like, I would rather see Restrepo go out there and fail than see Mason Kinsey just trot around on the field a couple plays. Like, that's my issue with it. And I'm with Max. Like, I don't agree with the talent evaluation, the roster management to this staff up to this point. So, like, I don't think they're the best people at making these decisions. So that just leaves me to wonder, like, why not give him an opportunity? I guess is it, like at this point, I'm playing anybody. Like I'm trying anything.
Yeah, let me pose this question, then I'll try anything, because this is where I'm at. This is literally where I'm at. I'm at that point of, let's just try anything. Why not? Let's see what happens. Youth movement. All right, go with me here for a second, because this is a little off the wall, because nobody's talked about it. Why don't we try Jackson Slater in Zeitler's spot?
The money, probably.
I was gonna say, I think you've paid. That's the thing. That's where I'm at with it. I think you've invested way too much money to just set him on the bench. And I'm not saying I'm. Look,
give him
That's
one
the only
game.
reason, money.
That's the whole point with Restrepo. Give him one game. If I'm wrong, cool. Put him back on the sideline and just have a shitty guard the whole year. But I don't understand why you don't at least try it. Because Jackson Slater in the preseason was good. I know he's a developmental player. I get that. But I also understand he's a nasty player. And he's young. Let these young guys get on the field together. They're the only ones trying, from what I saw on the field. The young guys are the only ones who are putting in. Well, no, there's a few others out there, but for the most part, the young guys are the ones who are putting in the max effort. So I say, give all the young guys a try.
I've been saying that since preseason.
Especially when you've got one guy who's underperforming at a insane rate for what you know he's capable of. I mean, maybe a benching would be a wake-up call to a guy like that. Maybe not. Maybe that's when he finally gives up and says, to hell with it. But either way, I don't want to be the same thing we are with a lot of other positions in the NFL where people come here to retire, or
Mhm.
they come here when they're washed up and done. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like Zeitler is just done, absolutely done. And if that's the case, then let him be done. Let's give somebody else a shot and see what it's like.
I think part of this too, you have to factor in, which it shouldn't be the case, but it is. But it feels like you've got a lot of egos within this organization where they don't want to be wrong. So like they're not going to go set Zeitler when they paid him all this money. They're not going to bring in an undrafted free agent who might beat out their fourth round draft pick. Like, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but I think that definitely plays a little bit of a part in it. I think that played a lot into the Brownlee trade, the Brownlee trade. It just, unfortunately, and I don't know this to be true for sure, but unfortunately, I think these guys don't want to admit when they're wrong. And they've already had to swallow their pride and do that a little bit with Callahan. But I would rather see a competitive football team than you protect your ego. And now you're building a new stadium and you're going into it in 2027. And like, you've shown me nothing that you can fix this team before then. And it's like, we can sit here in 2025 and say this is bad. But when they get in a multi-billion-dollar stadium and they still look this disorganized, like that's when it really gets ugly. That's when
hopefully it ain't like that.
Hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Defense, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. That's good. Except I thought, and I put out a video today of Sweat Sack, and I was like, Meatloaf's eating, or some shit. I don't know. I was trying to be clever. Anyway, a lot of people were like, man, dude, celebrating when you're down 13-31. That's wild work. And I'm like, it could just be that he's happy that he got off IR.
Right.
First game back, he gets a sack, and he's an interior defensive lineman, which, if you know the position, doesn't get a whole lot of sacks. So
he was just happy to be out there.
I was gonna say that's something to celebrate, man. Your first game
Yeah.
back from injury, you're already getting in the quarterback's face. Good job, man. Good on you.
Yeah, there were some bright spots on defense early, at least in the first half. I thought Jihad Ward made a couple of big plays, kind of disappeared towards the end there. But look, for the situation he walked into, with all the injuries, I thought he played an acceptable game. Cedric Gray is still out there just tackling anything and everything in his way.
Yeah.
That's been a bright spot that I hope continues. I mean, he's definitely playing his way into a roster spot next year. But I mean, other than that, it was kind of a letdown.
To a Pro Bowl spot.
It's a conversation. It really sucks to be the best player on the worst team. And that's kind of the position he finds himself in. Same thing with Jeffrey Simmons. But yeah, I mean, I think when you look at a few of these players as individuals, they're not having a bad year. It's just that this team can't play complementary football. And when the defense makes a big play, the offense can't capitalize. And same thing vice versa. When the offense is finding success, the defense can't get off the field. So It's just putting it all together. And that's just something that they've yet to find a way to do. But there are good individual efforts. Like, I don't think everybody on this team has just laid down and decided to quit. There are some good individual efforts. The problem with that is like these players who are giving the most effort, like that's probably what you can get the most draft stock out of. And that's what I hate to say. And I think that's why they basically said, look, anybody who's not on a rookie contract is up on the table.
Yeah, if we keep trading players, though, we're never going to get better. That's the only bad part about that.
But that's just the way it works when you're a shitty team.
I don't know, man. It just seems like we figure out how to get pressure, then we can't figure out how to stop the run. We figure out how to stop the run, we can't figure out how to stop the pass. We can stop the pass, then we can't stop the run. We can't sack. It's just It's just all over the place, man. The
Yeah.
defense is just, to me, is just not playing good at all.
It is frustrating. Do have to say two things real quick. That one thing that has been consistent all season with the defense is Cody Barton, but it's consistently bad. Again, look lost out on the field, missing gap assignments, just playing
I
zone when
feel
you're
like
in
everybody's trying to
man.
do too much and just not do their
I don't know
job.
what the hell that. How do you not know what defense you're in? That's the thing that bothered me, man. The one play where God, I think it was the running back. No, yeah, it was a running back catches a play and goes like 10 or 15 yards. But if you watch the play again, Cody Barton is the only person in zone. Everybody else is playing man defense. Now, there are some schemes that does that, but I just don't think that was the case. I think he was just completely. I mean, he's already looked lost this season a bunch, so I don't think that's too far off. But anyway,
but
go back.
he's a freaking MVP going against Cam Ward. Like, how insane is it? How insane is it that we go back to training camp and it's like, man, either Cam Ward is pretty bad or Cody Barton is going to be pretty freaking good this year. And we were like, there's no way that Cam Ward is struggling that much. Turns out Cam Ward might have just been struggling that much. Like, where did that play go from Barton that we saw early on in training camp? Did he just get worse, or was Cam Ward just struggling?
Cam's struggling, man.
I think so too.
Barton does have one interception so far this week.
I think we were all looking at it as like Cam's good and Cody Barton is just finding ways to make plays. But now looking at it, it's like, okay, maybe Cam Ward just wasn't that good. And that's why he was making Cody Barton look better than he actually is.
And the turnovers in the back, red zone turnovers, my God.
Red zone to hell, man. The ball he turned over this week was right on the goal line.
That's what I'm saying. It's red zone turnovers, man.
The hell are you making that play call for? I don't know. He did drop way back. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to say about defense, damn it, I got off track. Draymond Jones, got to give him a shout out, dude. He played his ass off this week.
He did.
5 pressures and a sack. We needed somebody to step up with Arden Key out. I really thought it was going to be Jihad Ward. He did play a good and solid game, but Draymond Jones setting the edge, at least on one side.
Didn't Ward get a sack too?
He did.
Yeah.
That's what
Ward
I thought.
Yeah. Ward had one sack, one tackle for loss. Yeah.
Yeah, he could have been spying the quarterback. I agree, Rob, but I just don't think so. Y'all can go back. Please let me know, because I would love to be wrong. I would love for somebody to be like, no, look, you can see this in prior games. This is the exact same defense setup. He goes back into the exact same drop. But
either way, it's kind of crazy. You have your 2 starting edge rushers out, and you generated more pressure with your backups than you ever did out of your starting defensive ends. Like, that's not okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know. Like, what's your thoughts on Femi to this point? Like, I know he's injured. He hadn't really shown us anything before the injury. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we really didn't see anything good out of him up until the injury. Now he's injured on IR. So, like, where do we stand on Femi at this point?
I disagree with that, though, because in the game where he got hurt, I think he had like 3 pressures, a tackle for loss. He was getting there. That's the thing, is he was putting pressure on the quarterback. He just couldn't quite get there, and he's a raw player already. So I don't feel like I'm upset with him. At a 2nd round draft pick, that's the part of the conversation that becomes interesting.
Yeah, that's not his fault either, right?
No, it's the guy in the office that thought he was a 2nd round pick, and maybe he should have been a 3rd. Okay, I'm not arguing that fact. I'm arguing the fact of, is Femi a good defensive end, and can he be a good defensive end in the future? Absolutely. I believe he's going to be just fine. Exactly. Thank you. He's going to be just fine. He needs a good defensive line coach. And I don't think Tracy Rocker's a bad defensive line coach, since we're on the subject.
Just
I
don't
think
see
this
no
is his.
elevation in players, man.
Well, I believe this is his second stint with the Titans. And both times I feel like he's done a good job. Both times, obviously, he was let go when the coaching staff moved on. But I don't know. It just really sucks that we did not get Jeff and Sweat on the field at the same time, because that's really where our bread and butter comes from. The inside rush. We collapse the pocket, but in a different way than any other team in the NFL. We collapse it from the front instead of from the sides. At which point we only have to contain the outside, which we couldn't do last year. But, I still have some hope that we could do something different this year than we did last year. And I hope that the change at coach would do something. And I think it did, to be honest. I mean, when you look at them when they come out, everybody had energy. Everybody was good up until I don't remember if it was a fumble or an interception, but the first turnover seemed to kill everything. All the energy that anybody had, all the motivation that anybody had, like nobody could brush that off. Once that interception happened, we were destined to lose the game. Now, before then, it looked like we were in control of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The way halftime ended and the way the third quarter began,
it was nuts. It was
because every player on this team had but yeah, every player on this team has the mentality of here we go again. Like, it's just this team has not figured out how to stack successes. And you heard Jeffrey Simmons allude to that a few times. But as soon as something bad happens, it's just a here we go again. And look, like, it's one thing to be able to motivate a team and motivate players, but I don't care about motivation at this point as much as I care about development. And point to the last coach that has been at Tennessee. I'm talking position coach, head coach, coordinator, whatever. Show me the last person that's been able to develop talent.
Malarkey.
Probably, yeah, to an extent.
McVay was on Malarkey's. No, he wasn't.
Malarkey,
never mind. That was Vrabel's hire.
We were trending in the right direction with Malarkey.
Mm-hmm. But that's the issue. Like, it's been that long since you've had someone and it doesn't matter how well you draft and how well you navigate free agency. If you can't develop players and make them better, this is what you're left with. So that's my biggest thing is, I'm kind of with you. I think there needs to be a massive staff overhaul. There's maybe one or two guys I can point to that's like, okay, they might be here when a new head coach takes over. But that's one of the biggest thing for me. Like, I don't even care about getting a coach that's all in on Cam Ward. I care about getting a coach who can put a staff together and develop players. If that's Cam Ward, great. If it's not, maybe that's the route we need to go. Like, for me, it starts at the front office. It starts with ownership. But then past that, it starts with the coaching staff. And you've got to be able to develop. I would rather have a coach who can develop a 4th-round pick than be able to find a 1st-round talent, if that makes sense. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, man. Bones is the only one
that was the one that comes to mind. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the point. I mean, that really is. I would, and I totally get what you're saying. I would much rather have a guy that can develop somebody that come out of the 4th or 5th round into a starter than I would be able to have the guy that can scout and find that 1st-round talent.
Absolutely.
Because you only get one of those. You can usually get 3rd, 4th round, 5th round picks. You can get 3 or 4 of those in each season. So I mean, it's
and there's a lot of good players that are 4th-round picks.
Yeah, it means a lot more when you can develop guys that low. And it looks like I don't know. I don't know. It's a bleak future for the Titans. I try to be as positive as I possibly can, but it does not look good for our season. It looks like we're cruising towards another first round draft pick or first overall draft
Well,
pick.
the Jets are winless. I mean, you know.
Hey, we're at the bottom of the barrel, y'all. It's going to take a while to get out. That's the biggest
So-
thing. We're at the
Yeah,
bottom.
the Saints, the Jets, and the Titans are duking it out for that first overall
Jeez.
pick.
Yeah.
But look, let's see, who do we have next week? Indianapolis. Yeah, we're going to
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
That should
Oh
be
my
fun.
God!
I just don't want to see another blowout.
That's the problem though. Is every single game
Man.
that I was predicting on the schedule that this is a winnable game. This is a winnable game. This is a winnable game. So far, every winnable game that I've said has been completely off. Even Arizona, because we shouldn't have won that game.
Hmm. Yep. Y'all dogged me when I said 4 wins, and I hate to be right, especially about
Oh
this.
hell, dude, we'll be
But
good if we get 4 wins.
When you look at this schedule and what's left on it, like even going back to when we did our predictions, like it was, and that's what I said. Like I don't want to believe that they're this bad, but looking at it, like it's hard for me to find those wins. And I mean, you've got the Colts, the Chargers. The easiest team you really have left is the Texans, and then maybe the Browns and Saints. Like there's hopefully your 4 wins. But
I think
past
me and
that,
Max just believed that there was going to be some building, some growth.
Yeah.
There just hasn't been
Well,
any.
I mean, let's be real here. A.O. Manor should not have gone in the 4th round. He probably should have gone in the 3rd. So we felt like we got a steal there. Super big talent. I still believe in Cam Ward. I still think he was deserving of an overall first round pick. Only time will tell on that one, so we'll see. But if I'm a GM or right now, I'm trying to find out what is more valuable at the moment and what will be at this draft available for us in that first round. Is it going to be a left tackle or wide receiver? Those are the 2 best friends of a new quarterback. And the whole show, in my opinion, has been how are we not helping? How are we helping? What are we doing to help Cam Ward? The biggest thing you can do in this offseason is try to figure that out. Figure out which one's more important at this moment and go for it.
I just don't know if I can handle the Titans spending another first round draft pick on an offensive lineman. And I get it. That's what they need. I know it is.
Yeah.
But man,
it
seems rough. Like year after year after year, it's like, well, they need that tackle. They need that guard.
Another thing,
I hate it. I hate it.
Well, the other thing that people keep wanting to glaze over is that our drafts have been absolutely abysmal since 2015. We missed on 3 first-round draft picks in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 really, if you want to count Burks in on that. Yeah. So that's 4 missed first-round draft picks. You can't do that and be successful in the NFL. I mean,
and it's not just the first round. Like this team, I'm pretty sure is dead last in the percentage of players drafted and then retained. Like it's absolutely abysmal. You just can't build an entire roster through free agency when you can't draft, develop, retain. Like that's what it comes down to.
That's why I don't want to get rid of our good players.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. Like it's a catch-22, and that's why I said at the beginning of the show, like, no matter what decisions they make, there's repercussions that come along with each one. And that's the worst spot to be in, because yes, you've got some guys you want to retain, but then you need so many other positions. And it's like, if I can give up Jeffrey Simmons and get that first round pick, and then you trade either a number 2 or number 1 overall pick, and then you're sitting there with 4 first round draft picks, like that's like it sucks, but that's kind of the best case scenario in my opinion. And like, no, I don't want to see Jeffrey Simmons go, and I don't want to see Roger McCreary go, but like, I get it. I get it, because by the time they're competitive, Jeffrey Simmons is going to be 31 years old and on his way out the door anyway. So it's just hard for me to find a scenario that the Titans can come out on top in. Like, it's just, no matter how you look at it, it's kind of a lose-lose situation at this point.
Yeah, and I'll say this as my final thought. I kept saying all night tonight was about how can we help Cam Ward. My answer to that is just look towards the future. Don't think about this season anymore. I mean, do what you can to find out. I think Rob has a good point here, and we've already said it. Find out what you have in the young guys that you have right now. See what they look like against actual first teamers, NFL talent. And if they can hang, great. If they can't, move on.
Yep.
Figure out what's most important to help Cam in this offseason and go after it. If we have to trade off some of our players to get those early picks to fix the holes that we have then do it. Do whatever you think is going to help the team and Cam Ward. I mean, that's just plain and simple. And I think that's what most of the time they're doing already. I just think that we all disagree on which way is the best way to help Cam Ward and the Titans. Some people disagree that helping Cam Ward helps the Titans.
He needs to be on the bench. That's the best place for him.
And that's true, but it sucks to say, because again, no matter what decision you make, there's something bad that comes along with it. And like, I really hate to say that, but I'm kind of with Scoob on that one, man. Like, I don't know.
Like
he's not benefiting being out there.
They all should
You're not
sit,
Yes.
like they used to.
Yes.
I mean,
100%.
McNair sat for 2 years.
Yep.
Love sat for 4 years.
Yep.
I mean,
different game.
Yep.
People expect instant results.
People want fast results, but look what happens when they're trying to get them. All these quarterbacks, it takes 5-6 years for them to be good.
Yep.
I mean, look at Baker. Look at all these other quarterbacks that sucked the first 3 or 4 years, and it took 4 or 5 teams before they figured it out. And that's just how it is, man. We're too impatient with the quarterback, and quarterbacks need to sit, take time, and learn how to play. Because if you just stick them out there, they're going to lose their confidence, and they're going to be another Mariota. They're going to be, I don't know, man. I've always been like that. I feel like quarterbacks should sit and learn how to play quarterback before you just throw them out there and let them get beat up.
Yep.
And that's always been from the beginning. I've always thought that. I thought that about every quarterback we ever drafted. They should sit and learn. We should have signed another quarterback better than Brandon Allen and let Cam Ward sit behind that man. But this is just the way the NFL is now. There's no patience anymore whatsoever.
Amen.
And that's my final thought.
Yes. Yes. And I think, that's what I was trying to bring up the point. That was my main point, was stop thinking about right now, because right now isn't going to help us. We need to be thinking about the future, obviously. And this season's done, so scrap it. Let's see what we got in the young guys. Let's see what we got, if we got any coaches we want to retain, like Fassel. And then, move on to next year, man. If you've hung with us throughout this entire show, thank you.
God bless you.
Yeah. And I don't know what kind of antidepressants you're on, but if you could share some, that would be great. Anyway, we appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, follow us on social media. Scoob,
You better be following.
That's right. Maximus Titan fan, Titans Global Podcast, Link Rogers. Get on there, check us out. But until next time, we'll be back.
Tighten up.
Tighten up.
Yeah, it's Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Tighten up.
Thursday. Tighten up. Peace out.
Peace out, y'all.